Mr. Anjani Singh ji. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers and the Principal Secretary especially for inviting me and addressing you all on a very important intervention which you people are having for 2 days here on developing IT ecosystem. And what I thought that I can talk on this eBihar and ICT blueprint. Just few minutes ago, our Honorable Chief Minister has brought up a point that we have to see how we can enable the poorest of the poor and try to see how we can facilitate through ICT. This is a quote which was given by Mahatma Gandhi ji 75 years back, that true India is to be founded not in few cities but in 700,000 villages. If villages perish, India will perish too. This quote is still valid, and we are all here to see how we can make this thing happen with the use of ICT. And that's the crux of the whole thing, is that this is citizen-centric approach is to be followed, wherein the smart mobility, smart infrastructure, smart living, smart governance and smart people with the smart economy is the thing we have to work on. The basic problem is that people are moving or migrating from villages to cities and cities to bigger cities because of the fact that we cannot provide all those amenities at the village level or a two-tier city level, and that's why this migration is there. So if we can use ICT and Internet of Things, which is IoT based solution, to curb migration, that will be the core point, and that is where we are all here to discuss and see how we can do that. And that is where we can provide high quality of life through employment opportunities, healthcare facilities, etc. So the ruralization, the rural-urban connect is the key. So since we have to improve the quality of living, we have to go in for smart agriculture, smart education, energy and power management, water management, healthcare and elderly care, and e-governance. So these are the 6 pillars on which we can work on, and that becomes the real blueprint where we can take the thing to the next level. Be it smart villages where the things can be connected. We have a 3P model where people comes first, process, policies and technology. If all the 4 can be integrated, then only we can get the desired results. In Bihar, we have large educated and skilled youngsters, and now we have to channelize them to make the next level of. When I was reading the agenda paper for this eBihar conference, the 2 things which I could find, that the skilled youngsters which are available to do certain class of jobs, but if we can do high-end training to them, then that becomes the major USP again for Bihar. I've given to understand that we have the skilled manpower and the mathematics part, which is or analytical part in Bihar is very good. Bihar and UP, the maths is very good. And that's where the core lies, and that's the crux of the whole of IT. If we really want to take the cyber security as the area where encryption, decryption and these type of things are required to be done, maths plays a major role. And this analytical ability, if we can channelize, we can have a very good high-end manpower which can be made available throughout, not only throughout the country but throughout the world. And this functioning requires a whole lot of training modules. A whole lot of people can integrate the whole systems and try to see how these things can be delivered in the e-learning mode also. So the training to these people becomes a core area on which we can work. The process, again, we have to streamline the processes, and if the processes are streamlined, a lot of things can happen which are taking time. These two things put together, we have to have policies, and that's what exactly the IT ministry here in Bihar is looking about, the policy part, wherein they're trying to integrate the industry, industrial growth and e-governance put together. So a lot of ease, that's what our Chief Minister was asking, if we can facilitate people with these e-governance solutions, that is the crux of the whole stuff, and where technology can play a major role. So these are the 4 points which are very, very important, and if we can put them together like people, process, policy and technology, that will become that much powerful. So the approach is to identify, then diagnostic tools can be prepared for present status, deficiencies, and then the recommended solutions with the KPIs for the implementation. So this process actually can capture the whole model, and then we move on to the analysis, study analysis part, wherein the GIS, the Internet of Things, sensors, and the Internet becomes the lowermost layer on which the communication can reside, and smart city analytics can be done, statistics and alerts can be generated, and they become the pointers to operate on. So that's what exactly is the study analytic phase can do. When the services, like district services, shared services, then city infrastructure, wherein the building infrastructure or the hardware and machine, energy, wealth, health and telecom, and then national infrastructure, which is energy, security and telecom. All these things can be put together with the interface by which the smart life can be created. And then there can be a migration path from village to city and city to state. That migration path can be done. And then the project implementation can actually happen. So if you see each sector, like smart mobility, if you go, there can be zero tolerance on accident-free roads, intelligent roadmap for augmented reality, smart parking, or the list of items which are there. These things become a very important factor which can be incorporated into the blueprint. We have big data on which they like passport information, RTO information, PAN card information, then all government information, border coastal security stuff, banking information. All this information can be integrated, and this big data analytics we can do and provide real-time, real-life solutions to various problems. So like crime prediction and protection, then real-time cyber attack prediction, and enhancing intelligence and surveillance insights. So if you see, we have a newer version of India which is interoperable and integrated technologies, network of interconnected devices, digital intelligence, indigenous and collaborative systems, and all pervasive services. So wherein we can have machine-to-machine interaction, machine-to-people interaction, and people-to-people interaction. So if you go by the hype cycle, which is Gartner, I think these are the areas where we have very effectively done a lot of work, and now we are trying to see how those things can be brought in to the common masses. And CDAC majorly into the R&D areas of high performance computing and cloud computing, when we have a system which is running in Pune, which is a half a petaflop system. Lot of applications like weather prediction, earthquake modeling, all these areas have been worked on, and those things can be now been used into various forms by the end user, which is the masses. Multilingual computing and heritage computing, we have done extensive work onto machine translation, speech recognition, speech synthesis, and these things again become the tool to provide the IT-based solutions to the common or the poor people who want to get the data in their own language. Health informatics, again we have a lot of work done on the hospital information system, the telemedicine area, and these mobile vans which have taken up the task of doing cancer analytics onto that. Cyber security, then e-governance and e-informatics. So with these things in a bouquet of things which have been offered from CDAC, I think as sir was telling in the morning, CDAC is looking forward to coming into Bihar and Patna. We are trying to put that proposal we are working out with some of these applications which also be running locally from here, when the local people can be deployed and that can be taken up to the next level. So with these words, I'd like to thank the organization, and we'd like to see how these 2 days can be beneficial to all of us, and try to see how we can take it to a e-Bihar.